Crazy Kraus here with a little discussion about respiratory system. Respiratory system, conceptually, it's all about gas exchange, getting air in, getting air out, allowing oxygen to go from the lungs into the bloodstream and carbon dioxide from the bloodstream into the lungs. And here are some things that you need to know beside that concept. And we can start with why is oxygen so important, and that takes us back to cellular respiration and the production of energy. To produce adequate amounts of ATP on a sustainable basis, the cells have to have oxygen. Otherwise, they stay in anaerobic respiration, and that's not sustainable. And getting air in and out of the lungs, and there are actually 4 processes which allows the body to get oxygen to the tissue. There's pulmonary ventilation, which is inhaling air, rich in oxygen, exhaling air, rich in carbon dioxide. There's alveolar gas exchange, that exchange of gases, oxygen out of the alveolar space into the bloodstream, and carbon dioxide out of the bloodstream into the alveolar space. So that's alveolar gas exchange. That's a second process. Gas transport, which is the cardiovascular system, and then systemic gas exchange, where the oxygen goes out of the bloodstream into the tissues, into the cells, and carbon dioxide comes out of the cells into the bloodstream. Remember, carbon dioxide, one of the two waste products of cellular respiration. The other one being water and carbon dioxide. And to get air in and out of the lungs, the diaphragm contracts, which flattens it. That increases the volume in the lungs, which decreases pressure. This is based on Boyle's law. And you need to know Boyle's law. Can you see this? There it is. Boyle's law. Hopefully you can see that. Pressure equals 1 over volume, or volume equals 1 over pressure. Volume and pressure have an inverse relationship. When you increase volume, the pressure goes down. Gases move from higher to lower pressure. So you inhale by contracting the diaphragm, which flattens it out. It's like it's an upside down soup bowl, and it flattens out when it's contracted, pulls the lungs down, increases volume, that decreases pressure. And actually, even though it feels like we're sucking air in, it's the atmospheric pressure that pushes the air from higher pressure to lower pressure, outside the lungs, atmosphere, to inside the lungs. So you need to have an understanding of Boyle's law, and you need to have an understanding of volumes and capacities. This is in super simple figure 27.1 on page 282, first edition of Super Simple. So that diagram, the 2 that you really need to understand well are tidal volume, which is how we breathe when we're at rest. So watching this, you're probably breathing tidal volume. I'm a little above that because I'm yapping. And then vital capacity, which is the total amount of air that you can take in with a full expiration and then blow all the way out. That's what you would measure with a pulmonary function test. Gas exchange is related to partial pressure. You need to understand the concept of partial pressure when you've got a gas that's not purely one gas, like 100% oxygen. It's oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and some other types of gases in there. And it's the pressure of oxygen that causes it to move, that partial pressure, from one place to the other, out of the alveolar spaces into the bloodstream, out of the bloodstream into the tissues. Same thing for carbon dioxide. And oxygen and carbon dioxide transport, good discussion on page 284 in Super Simple. First edition, super simple. Second edition, working on it, be out in August of 2002. It's going to be a great improvement, as good as the first edition is. So, as it describes in super simple, oxygen is transported from the lungs to the tissues by the RBCs, red blood cells, erythrocytes. The hemoglobin binds with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin. Carbon dioxide has 3 ways of being transported. It can be dissolved in the plasma, like carbon dioxide in a soda, like Coke or Pepsi or 7-Up, or it can be bonded to hemoglobin, or it can be carried as bicarbonate dissolved in the plasma. So know those 3 ways that carbon dioxide gets transported. All right, I think that's it. I'll see you next time talking about the digestive system. Until then, Krause out.